Now we both know exactly who you are.
The kitchen sink had been dripping for 3 weeks. 3 goddamn weeks of that steady plink, plink, plink that drove me crazy every night when I tried to sleep. But here I was at 11:30 p.m., finally doing something about it, while my wife Jennifer scrolled through her phone at the kitchen table, laughing at whatever garbage filled her social media feed. I'm Dave Mitchell, 42 years old, logistics manager at Peterson Freight, and apparently the only person in this house who knows how to use a wrench. The irony wasn't lost on me. I spent my days coordinating shipments across 3 states, but I couldn't coordinate my own wife to care about our falling apart house. "Hand me that flashlight," I muttered, my head buried under the sink cabinet. Jennifer didn't respond. She was too busy giggling at her phone like a teenager. I'd been married to this woman for 18 years, and lately she acted like I was invisible unless she needed something fixed or wanted money for another shopping trip. "Jennifer, the flashlight." "What? Oh, sorry." She barely glanced up, fumbling around the counter until she found it. "Here." I grabbed the flashlight and focused on the pipe joint. The rubber gasket was completely shot. Probably hadn't been replaced since we bought this dump 10 years ago. As I worked, I could hear Jennifer's fingers tapping away on her phone, then another one of those breathy little laughs. That laugh used to be for me. Now it was for whatever mindless content she consumed every waking moment. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. She lived her entire life through that screen. I was tightening the new gasket when her phone buzzed with a text message. She must have thought I couldn't hear her from under the sink because she started typing a response, and I caught every word she whispered to herself as she wrote. "Thanks for last night, can't walk straight today, winky face." My wrench slipped. I banged my knuckle against the pipe joint hard enough to see stars. "You okay down there?" Jennifer asked, but she was already back to her phone. I stayed perfectly still under that sink, processing what I'd just heard. My wife of 18 years, mother of our 17-year-old daughter, Maya, had just sent a sexually explicit text message to someone, while I fixed our broken sink 10 feet away. The phone buzzed again. She was getting a response. I slid out from under the sink slowly, wiping my hands on an old towel. Jennifer was so absorbed in her conversation that she didn't notice me standing there, watching her type with the kind of focused intensity she hadn't shown me in years. Her phone was face up on the table. I could see she was texting someone named E with a heart emoji next to it. "Who's E?" I asked casually. Jennifer jumped like I'd fired a tool. Her phone went flying across the table and she lunged to grab it, clutching it against her chest. "What? Nobody. Just work stuff." "Work stuff that involves not being able to walk straight?" Her face went white, then red, then white again. "I don't know what you're talking about." I almost laughed. After 2 decades together, she really thought she could lie to my face? I'd spent 4 years in the Army and 15 years managing logistics. I knew when someone was trying to BS me. "Let me see the phone," I said. "No." She stood up, backing toward the hallway. "It's private. Private work stuff." "Yes." "About not walking straight?" "Dave, you're being paranoid." I took a step toward her. Jennifer took 2 steps back. "Am I? Then show me the phone. I don't have to show you anything." She was right. She didn't. But the fact that she wouldn't told me everything I needed to know. I pulled out my own phone and opened my text messages. "You know what's funny, Jen? I got a weird text about 20 minutes ago. Want to guess what it said?" Her eyes went wide. "What are you talking about?" I held up my phone and read from the screen. "Thanks for last night, can't walk straight today, winky face. From you to me." The color drained from her face completely. She looked like she was going to throw up. That was a mistake. I meant to send it to Lisa. Girl talk, about her date last night." "Lisa's been married for 12 years. She's having problems with Mark. Try again." Jennifer's hands were shaking now. She was trapped and she knew it. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. "Dave, please, it's not what you think." "What do I think, Jen?" "I don't know, but whatever it is, you're wrong." I nodded slowly. "Okay, so you won't mind if I call Lisa right now and ask her about her date last night that left her unable to walk straight?" "Don't you dare." "Why not? If that's who the text was meant for, she'll back up your story." Jennifer's phone buzzed in her hands. She glanced down at it instinctively, and I saw her face change. Whoever E was, he was getting impatient. "I'm going to bed," she announced, pushing past me toward the stairs. "We're not done talking about this." "Yes, we are." She was wrong about that, too. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed next to my wife, my cheating wife, and stared at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. She was faking sleep. I could tell by the rhythm. Too controlled, too even. She was as awake as I was. Around 3 a.m., she got up to use the bathroom. I heard her phone buzz on her nightstand and saw the screen light up. Another message from E. The next morning, Jennifer acted like nothing had happened. She made coffee, kissed me on the cheek like she had every morning for 18 years, and headed off to her job at Pinnacle Marketing like it was just another Tuesday. But it wasn't just another Tuesday. It was the day I decided to find out who E was. I called in sick to work, first time in 3 years, and spent the morning thinking. Jennifer worked at a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. About 60 employees, mostly young professionals, trying to climb the corporate ladder. She'd been there for 8 years, ever since Maya started high school, and Jennifer decided she needed a career. The job had changed her. New clothes, new attitude, new friends. She started going to happy hours and weekend team-building events. Started caring about her appearance again, but not for me. For them. I drove to her office building around lunchtime and parked across the street. Pinnacle Marketing was on the 5th floor of a glass tower that tried too hard to look modern and successful. I'd been there exactly twice, once for Jennifer's Christmas party 3 years ago, and once to pick her up when her car was in the shop. At 12:15, Jennifer came out of the building with 2 other women. I recognized one of them, Lana Hoffman, the HR director. Tall, blonde, perfectly put together, in that artificial way that screamed, "I peaked in high school." The other woman was younger, maybe early 30s, with dark hair and an expensive-looking suit. They walked to a trendy sandwich shop 2 blocks away. I followed on foot, staying far enough back to avoid being seen. They got a table by the window, and I positioned myself at a bus stop where I could watch them through the glass. Jennifer was animated, gesturing with her hands while she talked. Lana leaned in close, nodding and smiling. The third woman checked her phone constantly, like she was expecting an important message. After about 20 minutes, a man joined their table. Tall, athletic build, wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than my monthly salary. Dark hair, confident smile. The kind of guy who'd never had to fix his own sink. Jennifer's entire body language changed when he sat down. She straightened up, tucked her hair behind her ear, and gave him a smile I hadn't seen in years. The smile she used to give me. He leaned over and whispered something in her ear. She laughed and playfully swatted his arm. I pulled out my phone and took pictures. Lots of pictures. The man's name tag was visible when he turned toward the window. Elliot Brennan, Senior Consultant. Elliot. E. I had him. That afternoon, I did something I'd never done in 18 years of marriage. I went through Jennifer's things, her dresser, her closet, her car, her laptop bag. I felt like a criminal, but I also felt justified. She'd made me into this person. In her laptop bag, I found a receipt from the Marriott downtown. Room service for 2, charged to her company credit card, dated 3 days ago. She'd told me she was at a client dinner that night. In her car, I found a parking stub from the same hotel, time-stamped at 11:47 p.m. In her dresser, hidden under a stack of sweaters, I found new lingerie. Black lace, expensive, tags still attached. She hadn't worn anything like that for me in years. But the real evidence was on her laptop. Jennifer had always been careless with passwords. She used the same one for everything. Maya's birthday, followed by our anniversary year. It took me exactly 1 try to get into her email account. What I found there made me physically sick. Dozens of emails between Jennifer and Elliot, going back 6 months. They started professional, project discussions, meeting schedules, client updates. But by the 2nd month, they'd gotten personal. By the 3rd month, they'd gotten explicit. Elliot wrote like he was God's gift to womankind. "Can't stop thinking about you. You're incredible. When can I see you again?" Jennifer wrote like a lovesick teenager. "Last night was amazing. I can't concentrate at work. I think about you constantly." There were photos. I deleted them immediately, but not before I saw enough to know that my wife had been living a double life for half a year. The most recent email was from yesterday, sent 2 hours after our kitchen confrontation. "Dave's getting suspicious. We need to be more careful." Elliot's response, "Maybe it's time to tell him. You can't keep living like this." Jennifer's reply, "Not yet. I need more time to figure things out." Figure things out. Like our marriage was a math problem she was trying to solve. I printed every email, all 43 pages of them. Then I forwarded the entire thread to my personal email account and deleted the sent message from Jennifer's outbox. She thought she was being careful. She had no idea how sloppy she'd been. By the time Jennifer came home that evening, I had everything organized in a manila folder. Photos, emails, receipts, hotel records. 18 years of marriage reduced to evidence of betrayal. "How was your day?" She asked, kissing my cheek like always. "Productive," I said. "Very productive." She had no idea what was coming. I waited until the weekend to make my move. Maya was at her friend's house for a sleepover, so Jennifer and I had the house to ourselves. Perfect. Saturday morning, Jennifer was in her usual spot at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone and drinking coffee. She was probably texting Elliot, making plans for another client dinner or team building event. I set the manila folder down in front of her. "What's this?" she asked without looking up from her phone. "Open it." "I'm busy, Dave. Can it wait?" "No, it can't." Something in my tone made her look up. She saw my expression and her face changed. The guilty look was back, the same one from Tuesday night. She opened the folder. The first page was a printed screenshot of her text conversation with Elliot from 3 days ago. Explicit messages about what they'd done in that hotel room and what they planned to do next time. Jennifer's coffee mug slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. Coffee splashed across the kitchen tiles, but she didn't seem to notice. "Dave, I can explain." "Keep reading." She turned the page. Hotel receipts, parking stubs, photos of her having lunch with Elliot, his hand on her arm, her laughing at whatever BS he was whispering. "This isn't what it looks like." "Keep reading." More emails. The ones where she called Elliot baby and talked about leaving me. The ones where she complained about our marriage, our house, our life together. The ones where she said she'd never been happy with me. That last part hurt more than the Zex. I could have handled her sleeping with someone else. But knowing she'd been miserable for years and never said anything, that felt like a knife in my chest. Jennifer was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. "Dave, please, let me explain." "Explain what? That you've been screwing your coworker for 6 months? That you've been lying to my face every day? That you've been using our daughter's birthday as your password while you plan to destroy our family? It's not like that." "Then what is it like, Jen?" She looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. For a moment, I thought she might tell me the truth, apologize, try to fix what she'd broken. Instead, she said, "It's your fault." I actually laughed. "My fault? You stopped paying attention to me years ago. You treat me like I'm invisible. When was the last time you told me I was beautiful? When was the last time we went on a date? When was the last time you made me feel special? When was the last time you gave me a chance to? Elliot makes me feel alive again. He sees me. He appreciates me. Elliot is married with 2 kids. Jennifer's face went white. "How do you know that?" "Because I'm not stupid, Jen. I looked him up. His wife's name is Patricia. His kids are 7 and 9. Does Patricia know about your hotel visits? That's different." "How is it different? His marriage was already over. They're getting divorced." "According to who? Him?" Jennifer didn't answer. "Let me guess, Keys," I continued. "He told you his wife doesn't understand him. He told you they've been growing apart for years. He told you he's never felt this way about anyone before. Stop it. He told you that you're special, that you're different from other women, that what you have together is real. Stop it. How long do you think it took him to come up with those lines, Jen? How many other women has he used them on?" Jennifer stood up so fast her chair fell over. "You don't know anything about Elliot. I know he's a liar and a cheater, just like you." She slapped me, hard. The sound echoed through the kitchen like a tool shot. I didn't flinch. I just looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger. The woman I'd married was gone. This person standing in front of me, with her designer clothes and her guilty conscience and her pathetic justifications, was someone I didn't recognize. "Pack your things," I said quietly. "What?" "Pack your things and get out of my house. This is my house too. Not anymore. You can't throw me out. I have rights. You're right, you do, but I have rights too, and one of them is not having to look at your face while I figure out what to do with these photos and emails." Jennifer's eyes widened. "You wouldn't. Try me. Dave, please. Think about Maya. Think about our family." "I am thinking about Maya. I'm thinking about how she's going to feel when she finds out her mother is a cheating liar. I'm thinking about how she's going to react when her friends at school see these pictures. I'm thinking about how embarrassed she's going to be when everyone knows what kind of person her mother really is. You fool. Maybe, but I'm not a cheater. Jennifer stared at me for a long moment. Then she grabbed her purse and headed for the door. This isn't over, she said. Yes, it is. She left. I heard her car start in the driveway, then the sound of tires screeching as she drove away. I sat down at the kitchen table and looked at the scattered papers. 18 years of marriage ended on a Saturday morning in a kitchen that still smelled like spilled coffee. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. I'm staying at Lana's. We need to talk about this like adults. I deleted the message without responding. Then I opened my laptop and started making copies of everything. By Monday morning, word had spread through Jennifer's office like wildfire. I knew because I'd made sure it would. Sunday evening, I'd sent an anonymous email to Patricia Brennan, Elliot's wife. I'd attached selected screenshots of the most damning messages between her husband and my wife, along with copies of the hotel receipts. I also sent copies to Jennifer's boss, Marcus Webb, the CEO of Pinnacle Marketing. Professional misconduct, misuse of company credit cards, and potential sexual maltreatment were serious issues that could destroy the company's reputation. But the masterstroke was sending everything to Lana Hoffman in HR. The same Lana who was supposedly Jennifer's best friend. The same Lana who was harboring my cheating wife in her guest bedroom. I wanted to see what friendship was really worth when careers were on the line. The call came at 9:47 a.m. Dave, it's Lana. Hello, Lana. We need to talk. Do we? Jennifer told me what happened. This is all a big misunderstanding. I almost laughed. Is it? She made a mistake. She knows that, but sending those emails to her boss, that was cruel. Was it as cruel as screwing around behind my back for 6 months? Lana sighed. Look, I understand you're hurt, but you're destroying her career over a personal matter. Personal matter? She used company resources to conduct an affair. She lied on expense reports. She violated workplace conduct policies. How is that personal? You know what I mean. Actually, I don't. Explain it to me. Another sigh. Jennifer loves you, Dave. She's just confused right now. Going through a midlife crisis or something. If you could just... Let me stop you right there, Lana. Jennifer made her choice. Now she gets to live with the consequences. What about Maya? What about her? She needs her parents to work this out. She needs stability. She needs honest parents. Something she hasn't had for 6 months. Dave, please, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. I'm being more reasonable than Jennifer deserves. I hung up. 20 minutes later, my phone rang again. This time it was Tom Bradley, my best friend since college. Tom and his wife Sarah had been close friends with Jennifer and me for over a decade. We'd vacationed together, celebrated birthdays together, been in each other's weddings. Hey man, Tom said. Sarah and I heard what happened. We're really sorry. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Listen, we were wondering. Do you want to grab dinner tonight? Talk things through? Sure, that sounds good. We met at Romano's, the Italian place where the four of us had celebrated every anniversary and birthday for years. It felt strange being there without Jennifer, but also liberating. Tom and Sarah were already seated when I arrived. They looked uncomfortable, like they were attending a funeral. How are you holding up? Sarah asked as I sat down. I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. Tom and Sarah exchanged a look. Dave, Tom said carefully, we talked to Jennifer yesterday. Did you? She's devastated. She knows she screwed up, but she thinks you're being vindictive. I set down my menu. Vindictive how? Sending those emails to her boss. Sarah said. Getting her in trouble at work. That was pretty harsh. Was it harsher than lying to my face for 6 months? Of course not, Tom said quickly. But 2 wrongs don't make a right. What's the second wrong, Tom? Come on, man. You know what I mean. No, I don't. Jennifer cheated on me. Jennifer lied to me. Jennifer betrayed our marriage and our family. I exposed the truth. How is that wrong? Sarah leaned forward. Because you're hurting her career. You're embarrassing her publicly. You're making it impossible for her to recover from this mistake. Mistake? I laughed. Sarah, she didn't accidentally trip and fall onto Elliot's pecker. She made a series of deliberate choices over 6 months. She planned secret meetings. She lied about where she was going. She bought lingerie for another man. Those aren't mistakes. Those are decisions. Okay, fine, Tom said. Bad decisions. But she's still your wife. She's still Maya's mother. Don't you think she deserves a chance to make things right? What would making things right look like, Tom? Counseling, therapy, working through your problems together. And what about Elliot? Tom and Sarah exchanged another look. What about him? Sarah asked. Is he going to counseling too? Is he working through his problems with his wife? Or is he going to move on to the next married woman who's feeling neglected? That's not your concern, Tom said, isn't it? He helped destroy my marriage. He pursued a married woman. He's probably done this before and he'll probably do it again. Why does he get to walk away without consequences? Because you're not married to him, Sarah said. Jennifer is your responsibility. Elliot isn't. I stared at them both. These people I'd considered my closest friends for over a decade. These people who'd been in my wedding party and whose weddings I'd been in. These people who are now sitting across from me, asking me to forgive my wife's affair and pretend it never happened. Let me ask you something, I said. If Tom was cheating on you, Sarah, would you want me to tell you? Sarah's face went red. That's not the same thing. Why not? Because Tom would never cheat on me. How do you know? Because I know him. Jennifer would never cheat on me either. Until she did. Tom put his hand on Sarah's arm. Dave, we're just trying to help. Are you? Because it sounds like you're trying to help Jennifer. We're trying to help both of you. By asking me to ignore what she did, by asking you to forgive what she did. There's a difference between forgiveness and stupidity, Tom. Sarah's eyes flashed. So Jennifer is stupid for making a mistake, but you're smart for destroying her life? I didn't destroy her life. She did. You sent those emails to her boss. I exposed her misconduct to the appropriate authorities. If that destroys her life, maybe she should have thought about that before she started screwing around. Tom shook his head. This isn't like you, Dave. You're usually the reasonable one, the one who thinks things through. I did think this through, very carefully. And you decided that revenge was more important than your marriage. I decided that honesty was more important than protecting a liar. Sarah stood up abruptly. I can't listen to this anymore. Jennifer was right. You have changed. When did you talk to Jennifer? This morning. She called me crying, saying you'd turned into someone she didn't recognize. Someone cold and cruel. Interesting, because I was thinking the same thing about her. Tom threw his napkin on the table. Come on, Sarah, let's go. They left me sitting alone at a table for 4, surrounded by the ghosts of better times. I ordered another beer and thought about what Tom had said, that I'd changed, that I wasn't the reasonable one anymore. Maybe he was right. Maybe I had changed. Maybe that wasn't a bad thing. 2 weeks later, Elliot Brennan's life fell apart. It started with his wife filing for divorce and taking the kids to her mother's house in Connecticut. Patricia had hired a vicious attorney who was demanding full custody, the house, half of Elliot's retirement fund, and permanent alimony. Then Pinnacle Marketing fired him. Marcus Webb had conducted a thorough investigation and found evidence of multiple affairs with female employees over the past 3 years. Elliot had been using his position as senior consultant to prey on younger women in the company, promising promotions and career advancement in exchange for sexual favors. Jennifer wasn't his first sufferer. She was just the most recent. The firing made the local business news. Marketing executive terminated for sexual misconduct. Elliot's photo was right there on the front page of the business section, looking like the arrogant hunter he was. But I wasn't done with him yet. I'd spent 2 weeks gathering information about Elliot Brennan, where he lived, where he shopped, where he worked out, where he ate lunch. I knew his routine better than he did. Friday evening, I followed him to Murphy's Pub, a trendy sports bar downtown where young professionals went to see and be seen. Elliot was there with 2 other men, probably colleagues from other companies, drinking expensive whiskey and trying to act like his world hadn't just collapsed. I sat at the bar and watched him for an hour. He was putting on a good show, laughing, telling jokes, buying rounds for his friends. But I could see the cracks. The way he checked his phone constantly, the way his smile never reached his eyes, the way he drank just a little too fast. Around 9 o'clock, his friends left. Elliot stayed, nursing his whiskey and staring at his phone, probably looking at job listings or divorce attorneys. I walked over to his table. Elliot Brennan? He looked up confused. Yeah? I'm Dave Mitchell, Jennifer's husband. The color drained from his face. He started to stand up, but I put my hand on his shoulder and pushed him back down. Sit. We're going to have a conversation. Look, man, I don't want any trouble. Neither did I. But here we are. Elliot glanced around the bar, probably looking for help. But Murphy's was crowded and loud, and nobody was paying attention to us. "What do you want?" he asked. "I want to understand something. Help me out here. You're, what, 38 years old?" 37. 37. Successful career, beautiful wife, 2 kids, nice house in the suburbs, everything a man could want. So what I don't understand is why you decided to throw it all away to screw around with my wife." Elliot's hands were shaking. "It wasn't like that." "What was it like?" "It just happened. Bees, affairs don't just happen, they're planned. You planned this, Elliot. You targeted Jennifer. You manipulated her. You told her everything she wanted to hear. She was unhappy in her marriage. So you decided to help her out? How generous of you." Elliot took a large gulp of whiskey. "Look, I'm sorry, okay? I know I screwed up. I know I hurt people. But it's over now. Jennifer and I aren't seeing each other anymore. Because you got caught. Because it was wrong." I laughed. "Now it's wrong? It wasn't wrong 6 months ago when you were screwing her in hotel rooms on the company dime. I can't change what happened. No, you can't. But you can face the consequences." Elliot's eyes narrowed. "What consequences? I lost my job. I lost my family. My wife took my kids. What more do you want?" "I want you to understand something very clearly. If you ever contact my wife again, if you ever call her, text her, email her, so much as look at her, I will destroy what's left of your pathetic life. Are you threatening me? I'm making you a promise." Elliot tried to look tough, but his voice was shaking. "You can't intimidate me. I'm not trying to intimidate you, Elliot. I'm trying to educate you. See, you made a mistake. You thought I was some boring suburban husband who would just roll over and take it. You thought I'd cry and beg and maybe see a therapist. You thought wrong." I leaned closer to him. "I spent 4 years in the Army. I know how to hurt people in ways that don't leave marks. I know how to make someone disappear without anyone asking questions, and I know how to be patient." Elliot was sweating now. "You're crazy." "Maybe, but I'm also right. You destroyed my marriage. You helped my wife lie to me for 6 months. You turned her into someone I don't recognize. So now I'm going to return the favor." I stood up and dropped a business card on the table. It wasn't my real business card. It was one I'd had printed at Kinko's with Elliot's photo, and the words cheater and liar in bold red letters. "I had 500 of these printed," I said. "I've already distributed them to every business in your neighborhood. Your gym, your grocery store, your dry cleaner, your favorite restaurants. Everyone knows what you are now." Elliot stared at the card in horror. "You can't do this." "I already did." I walked away, leaving him sitting alone at his table with his whiskey and his business card and his ruined life. 3 days later, Jennifer called me. "You need to stop," she said. "Stop what?" "You know what? Elliot's getting death threats. Someone vandalized his car. He had to move in with his brother because people keep driving by his house screaming at him." "That's terrible. Dave, this has gone too far." "Has it? Because from where I'm sitting, it feels like justice." "This isn't justice. This is revenge." "What's the difference?" Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. "I want to come home." "No. Dave, please. I made a mistake, a huge mistake. But I love you. I love our family. I want to fix this." "There's nothing to fix, Jen. It's broken." "You broke it. We can go to counseling. We can work through this. Yes, we, both of us, together. What exactly do I need counseling for? You've become someone I don't recognize. You're cruel and vindictive and honest. Don't forget honest. This isn't you. You're right. The old me would have forgiven you. The old me would have blamed himself. The old me would have spent years in therapy trying to figure out what I did wrong. But the old me was a fool. So what happens now? Now you live with the consequences of your choices. What about Maya? What about her? She needs her parents together. She needs parents who respect each other. Something we'll never be again." Jennifer started crying. "I'm sorry, Dave. I'm so sorry." "I know you are. You're sorry you got caught." I hung up. That night I sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where this all started, and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Peace. For the first time since I'd found that text message, I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't confused. I was free. Elliot Brennan would never recover from what I'd done to him. His reputation was destroyed, his career was over, and his family was gone. He'd spend the rest of his life explaining to people why he couldn't be trusted. Jennifer would eventually find someone else to take care of her. Someone who didn't know about her capacity for deception. Someone who believed her lies. Someone who wasn't me. And I would rebuild my life without either of them. Maya came home the next weekend. She'd been staying with friends while Jennifer and I sorted things out. But she deserved to know the truth. "Dad," she said as we sat on the back porch Saturday evening, "Mom says you won't let her come home." "That's not exactly accurate." "What's accurate?" I looked at my daughter, 17 years old, smart, beautiful, honest, and made a decision. "Your mother had an affair." Maya's face didn't change, all I know. "You know? I've known for months. She wasn't exactly subtle about it. Why didn't you say anything?" "Because I hoped she'd come to her senses before you found out." We sat in silence for a while, watching the sun set over our neighborhood. "Are you getting divorced?" Maya asked. "Probably." "Good," and I looked at her in surprise. "Good? Dad, she made you miserable. For years, I watched you trying to make her happy, trying to be enough for her, and it was never going to work. She doesn't know how to be happy. She's your mother, and she's a selfish person who hurt the best man I know." I put my arm around my daughter and pulled her close. "I love you, kiddo. I love you too, Dad. And I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For finally standing up for yourself." 6 months later, the divorce was final. Jennifer got half of everything, which was fine by me. Money could be replaced. Trust couldn't. Elliot Brennan never found another job in marketing. Last I heard, he was selling insurance in another state, living in a studio apartment, and paying most of his salary to his ex-wife. Jennifer moved to California and got a job at a small advertising agency. She calls Maya every week and sends birthday cards and Christmas presents. She's trying to rebuild her relationship with our daughter, which I support, but she'll never rebuild her relationship with me. Tom and Sarah invited me to their anniversary party last month. I declined. Some friendships don't survive the truth. I'm dating someone new now. Her name is Carol, and she's a nurse at the hospital where I had my appendix removed 6 months ago. She's honest and funny and kind, and she thinks I'm worth her time. We'll see where it goes. But I'll never again be the man who fixes the sink while his wife texts her lover 10 feet away. That man is gone forever, and I'm glad.